Republican presidential aspirants are already off and running in New Hampshire. And America remembers the battle for Iwo Jima 50 years later. This is the CBS Evening News. And this is Bill Agatuda reporting. Good evening. 9 Republican presidential hopefuls descended on New Hampshire today, site of the nation's first presidential primary. And no, your calendar's not wrong. It is still a year away. But there they were today, shaking hands and making speeches. And already there's a controversy involving one potential candidate and his draft record. Correspondent Richard Threlkeld reports.
The list of Republican presidential pretenders in New Hampshire this weekend was about as long as a Chinese restaurant menu with just as many choices. 9 of them will be speaking to a state Republican dinner tonight, including Bob Dole, the Senate Majority Leader, who's the clear favorite among New Hampshire Republican and independent voters in a Boston Globe poll out today. He's preaching unity.
We need to try to bring people together. That's going to be my effort as I travel around the country, not to divide Republicans. We're not the majority party now. We can't stand further division.
But there's deep division over the abortion issue, evident today in the candidate's appearance on a local TV station. Senator Arlen Specter is for abortion rights.
And I think we ought to eliminate the abortion issue. And we Republicans ought to concentrate on core values.
Congressman Robert Dornan is against abortion rights.
Senator Specter, I hope, would not have said that about slavery when the party was born.
Dornan is vying for the votes of social conservatives and commentator Pat Buchanan, who's running against the Department of Education, among other things.
We don't need a bunch of bureaucrats making $100,000 a year in sandals and beads telling us how to educate the American people.
Senator Phil Gramm is not only pro-family but anti-tax to boot, as he emphasized today on the CBS News program Face the Nation.
Bill Clinton and the Democrats want the government to do the spending. I want the family to do the spending.
Graham, who did not serve in Vietnam and instead got a teaching deferment, insisted his draft record is not like the president's.
The difference between Bill Clinton and me is I wasn't out protesting against the war, either in this country or anywhere else.
And former Tennessee Governor Lamar Alexander is running against Washington.
I think even our Republican Congress would be better off if they spent 6 months at home and if they had lower pensions, lower salaries, less time there.
Given the millions it's going to cost to stay in this race, the list of GOP candidates in New Hampshire this time next year is likely to be a lot shorter. But for now, while Bill Clinton looks to be such an easy target, the line forms to the right. Richard Threlkeld, CBS News, Manchester, New Hampshire.
President Clinton spoke to World War II veterans today at the nation's memorial to the Battle of Iwo Jima. 50 years ago today, the battle began. It produced not only one of the most lasting images of the war, but also some of its fiercest and bravest fighting. Correspondent Bob Orr has our report.
They first came together 50 years ago on the black sands of a small Pacific island, in a battle where it is remembered uncommon valor was a common virtue.
When the Marine Corps tells you it was the toughest battle they ever had, and golly, I was there and I did my part, and I helped the country, you feel a little bit good inside.
Louis Lawn was a 24-year-old supply captain when the Marines hit the beaches of Iwo Jima February 19, 1945. After 5 days of heavy fighting, the American flag was raised on Mount Suribachi, in a moment that has come to symbolize victory in the Pacific.
We thought simply when they had that hill, the rest of it was going to be a piece of cake.
It wasn't. The fight for Iwo Jima would drag on for more than a month, the bloodiest battle in Marine Corps history. Fred Haynes was an operations officer.
Iwo Jima was like Gettysburg for 36 days, or Antietam for 36 days. It was a continuing, grinding fight.
With Japan's home islands just 700 miles away, the Americans needed Iwo Jima as an airbase for bombing runs. But there were 20,000 tenacious Japanese soldiers hidden in caves and fortified bunkers.
You could be shot at by somebody, and you knew you were being shot at because your buddy next door to you just got hit. And yet you couldn't find who it was.
6,800 Americans were killed, more than 17,000 others wounded. And in the small theater that was Iwo Jima, everyone was on the front lines.
You get out of your foxhole in the morning, and you find all this metal around that hadn't been there the night before, and there'd be a couple of foxholes in which there was nobody left. And each morning it was like Russian roulette. Because I just felt again, my golly, I was lucky.
Today, the lucky veterans gathered and remembered friends and fellow soldiers lost in their wrenching victory at Iwo Jima. In the shadow of their memorial, a younger generation paid respect.
We must work to create a nation worthy of the generation that saved it for our freedom.
And the veterans themselves, now in their late 60s and 70s, reflected on a sacrifice that for them still carries meaning.
Believe in your country. Stand up for the things that are important. I think those are messages.
Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
Because I think that the rest of
Okay, if the moon was really made out of cheese, I'd be an astronaut. Healthy Choice makes real cheese with skim milk, so it's naturally fat-free. I love their shredded cheddar. I put it on practically everything. I put it in taco salads, I put it on nachos, I put it in my famous tortilla torpedoes. Cheese is the center of my food universe. I even put cheese on my cheese. Oh, Healthy Choice cream cheese makes this killer cheesecake. Without cheese, I am nothing. With Healthy Choice, I eat what I like.
Cheese! You run a great place to visit, so lots of people call, but the people taking orders can't keep up at all. When customers hear, "Please hold," what you're selling goes unsold.
Sprint Business had a real solution for Taos Valley Resorts. Enhanced 800 service reroutes calls instantly, so every customer hears
Taos Valley Resorts. Sprint helped us increase reservations, so we're seeing more profits. And that's why I'm in business in the first place.
Call Sprint Business. We help business do more business.
Managing a family is like managing a business.
But moms don't get sick days.
There are deadlines,
You're late.
cash flow issues.
Milk money. Thanks, Mom.
So when coughs interfere, moms reach for the fast, soothing relief of Robitussin.
I trust Robitussin. It works.
In fact, it's the brand doctors and pharmacists recommend most. Now Mom can handle crucial management decisions.
Mom, can we keep him?
Robitussin, recommended by Dr. Mom.
The NAACP is already reaping rewards from the election of Myrlie Evers Williams as its new head. Thousands of dollars in new donations came in right after yesterday's vote. Diana Olick looks at the challenges facing the new chief of the nation's oldest civil rights group.
Never say, my one vote does not count.
A victory by one vote might not seem like the vote of confidence newly elected chairperson Myrlie Evers Williams needs to bring unity to the NAACP. But it was enough to broker a truce between warring factions split over charges of financial mismanagement.
We now have the unity and the sense of purpose to meet those challenges head on.
Evers Williams is no stranger to challenge. She and her late husband, Medgar Evers, founded the first NAACP office in Mississippi. Then, in 1963, at home with her 3 children, she witnessed her husband's assassination. For 31 years, she pursued the white supremacist who fired that shot and saw him convicted last year.
And from where do you draw your strength and your confidence?
Well, I'm a deeply religious person, but also I have many friends and many supporters.
Her predecessor, William Gibson, does too.
Don't expect that next week everything's going to be coming up roses. That's just not realistic.
Gibson himself conceded quietly, but still has a voice in the organization's future.
The person she defeated is still on the board, and the question now is whether or not he will become an active participant in supporting her agenda, or whether he'll be a divisive backbencher.
Would you give her some space, please?
So far, Evers Williams says her agenda is to address the budget deficit and restore public confidence in the country's oldest and largest civil rights organization.
Let's make it clear that I am not the sole answer. I am now the chair of the NAACP, but there are hundreds of thousands of us out there, and I ride on their shoulders.
The new head of the NAACP is also riding toward Capitol Hill. She called the 104th Congress a challenge, and referring to the newly elected Speaker of the House, said it is time to make Newt old. Words reminiscent of the days when the organization fought for the civil rights of others instead of fighting among themselves. Diana Olick, CBS News, New York.
A 12-year-old Iowa boy pulled yesterday from an icy lake has died. Ryan Harrison and a friend had been riding bicycles across Carter Lake when they fell through the ice. A man who had tried to rescue them died when he also fell through. The other boy managed to pull himself to shore. There's turbulence in the travel industry after a decision by major airlines that could wind up hitting travel agents and ultimately their customers hard. The story now from Cheryl Atkinson.
Few free things in life may now cost you money. The services of a travel agent. The nation's major airlines have slashed many commissions they pay travel agents. Agents used to get 10% of the ticket price. Now the airlines have imposed a $50 cap on commissions for round-trip domestic tickets.
We believe that the action was precipitous when all carriers got together and suddenly did this overnight and did it immediately. That gives nobody a chance to adjust.
That, say travel agents, smells suspiciously like an antitrust violation. Several travel agencies have already filed lawsuits against the airlines, meaning that airlines and travel agents, which are supposed to be on the same side, will now find themselves fighting each other in court. As fast as the airlines announced their new policy, the nation's largest travel agency announced it'll pass along the extra cost to travelers.
The clients are going to be disappointed that the airlines have in effect created an increase in price. I mean, that's what the airlines have done.
Beginning March 6th, American Express will charge $20 for booking domestic tickets that cost less than $300. Other travel agencies are struggling to decide whether to follow suit.
I just don't see how you can charge a service fee on a low-price ticket. Why would they come to you?
I travel for business, so I need to book through the travel agent anyway. So I don't think it's going to make much of a difference to me.
I would probably have to book it myself. I'll probably have to stop using travel agents.
Travel agents have only begun their court fight. For the time being, Americans who've gotten pretty good at ferreting out the lowest fares and best bargains may have to work at it a little harder or pay a little more. Cheryl Atkinson, CBS News, Washington.
A poll by the National Law Journal out tonight finds that most lawyers believe the O.J. Simpson trial will not result in a guilty verdict. The poll finds 39% of lawyers think the trial will end in a hung jury. 31% of lawyers think Simpson will be acquitted. Just 30% believe he'll be convicted.
My new denture adhesive is polygrip free. It is free of artificial flavors and it's free of artificial colors. Polygrip free holds my dentures tight. I can enjoy more of my favorite foods. New polygrip free.
You have a 30-year mortgage. So shouldn't you have a 30-year faucet? Moen. Buy it for looks. Buy it for life.
Ed, sink's backing up.
Get out the Lysol.
Lysol doesn't unclog drains.
It does now.
Introducing professional strength Lysol Drain Opener. It sends more power through standing water than other liquids. It clears even tough, smelly clogs.
It got out the clog.
You did well.
Get out the Lysol that gets out the clog. New Lysol Drain Opener.
Here's the latest. The deep-down cleaning power of Lysol joins the stain-removing power of bleach in new Lysol Plus Bleach All-Purpose Cleaner, an unbeatable bleach cleaner with 3 times more cleaners than the leading bleach cleaner to power out stains and tough dirt. New Lysol Plus Bleach, a superpower in cleaning.
Unlike some toilet bowl cleaners, Lysol Toilet Bowl Cleaner cleans and disinfects. Now, is disinfection that important?
You get it. It's your ball.
You decide. Lysol Toilet Bowl Cleaner for a deep down clean.
Robert has a 2-year-old daughter he never even sees, let alone pays any support for.
Phone calls don't even cost that much. A quarter from the payphone. You couldn't even call.
I ain't making no excuses.
Now, one state is making fathers like Robert face the real cost of fatherhood or face jail. Is it working? The story tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
The war in breakaway Chechnya could start up again at any time after Russians and rebels allowed a 5-day ceasefire to expire. As Jonathan Sanders reports, the interlude of peace was not wasted.
This weekend's shaky ceasefire in Chechnya gave the people left in its capital, Grozny, a chance to come out of hiding, to see what the war has done to their city. Once home to almost 500,000 people, Grozny is now a wasteland. Residents are collecting what remains of their lives. Many are taking the opportunity to flee. A few, more hopeful, are looking to resettle and to rebuild.
The Red Cross is using the lull in the fighting to deliver supplies, something Grozny desperately needs since the Kremlin has yet to bring in anything that doesn't explode. And the city could be in for a new catastrophe. Says this Russian officer, we haven't been able to bring in any medicine. Epidemics are starting to break out. Both sides are using the lull in the fighting to bury their dead, a more urgent task now that it's getting warmer. There are no burial facilities in Grozny. Bodies are transported out of the city. And in outlying villages, warriors are buried in communal graves. And recognizing the commonality of grief, Chechen elders offered the impoverished mother of a Russian soldier a place to bury her son next to their Muslim cemetery. The mother of another Russian soldier was luckier. She found her boy, one of the few POWs exchanged as part of the ceasefire. But time is running out for the other families looking for their lost sons. Moscow's commander says the truce won't be extended. He blames the Chechen aggressors. The war resumes Monday morning. Jonathan Sanders, CBS News, Moscow.
Israel's cabinet voted today to go ahead with expansion of 3 West Bank settlements around Jerusalem. The PLO says the new construction puts the whole peace process in jeopardy. Israel did, however, ease the almost month-long ban on Palestinian workers entering from the West Bank and Gaza. About a third of the 50,000 workers will be allowed in this week. Serbia's President Milosevic today rejected an international peace plan that would have lifted economic sanctions against the Serbians. But it was a society event that obsessed most Serbs today, the biggest celebrity wedding in years. Adam Rayfield reports.
Out in this Serbian village today, it wasn't war, it was wedding guests letting off steam at the marriage of the decade, Serbian style. The groom, a national hero called Arkan, in traditional style, shot down an apple to win his bride, the country's folk music queen. A mixture of glitz, tradition, and conspicuous consumption that defied the UN sanctions that have crippled the country. But to the world, Arkan, sometimes called the Beast of Belgrade, is an alleged war criminal, leader of the notorious Serbian paramilitary group, the Tigers. They're accused of leaving a trail of blood and destruction across Croatia and Bosnia. He's top of the wanted list at the Yugoslavian War Crimes Tribunal in The Hague, and the State Department also alleges he committed atrocities for which he should stand trial. But the baby-faced 42-year-old insists he is no crook, only a patriot.
I went to defend children and wives in our churches and our territories. I defend my Serbian tradition, you understand? And I'm not a war criminal.
Ceca, his bride, is a singer whose recordings of turbo-rock music are bestsellers. They are together the most potent symbols of Serbian nationalism today. Their wedding is seen by many Serbs as a welcome distraction from the drudgery of their daily lives caused by the penalties of the war in former Yugoslavia. Yet ironically, Arkan's war crimes are part of the problem and have led to Serbia's international isolation. Adam Rayfield, CBS News, London.
China and the United States reported progress today in talks to avert a trade war. The U.S. will impose stiff tariffs next Sunday unless agreement is reached to curb piracy of American movies, music, and computer software. China vowed to retaliate, and the talks resume on Wednesday.
As I sling the proverbial hash and decant the coffee and witness the results, I am dismayed by the belief that an antacid in a spoon is somehow stronger than a tablet. Au contraire.
A dose of Mylanta regular strength has this much neutralizing power. Regular Maalox, this much. But Tums Ultra has more neutralizing power. And while these have aluminum and magnesium,
Tums Ultra has calcium.
Something my body needs anyway.
So if you must take your antacid in a utensil, may I suggest
Ultra.
When the dishwasher was noisy, everyone would split. And to spend time with them, you'd split too. Introducing the dishwasher that changes all that. The new Whirlpool Quiet Partner. No dials. One button starts it cleaning powerfully. And our exclusive silencing device absorbs noise and vibration, making it our quietest Whirlpool ever. So the family can come back to the kitchen and spend more time together. Because you and Whirlpool know how to make a home run.
Ma, you've got to get some sleep.
Did
Did you get the Unisom I told you? Unisom. The gel ones. It's over the counter. No, it's not habit forming. I spoke to the doctor already. Ma, am I going to tell you to take something that isn't safe? All right. I love you too.
A published report says the Clinton administration plans to allow family visits to the 25,000 Cuban refugees at Guantanamo Bay. The Miami Herald reports the visits may begin next month. There has been a recent increase in suicide and escape attempts among the refugees. Well, with all those Republican candidates crowding into New Hampshire this weekend, it's easy to forget there are still 366 days to go before that state's presidential primary. Our political analyst Joe Klein joins us from New Hampshire now to tell us more on the rush. Good evening, Joe.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? And why
a little cold. It's nice.
A little cold there. Why in the world are we there so early?
Well, the Republicans are tempted to say, well, we want to get at Bill Clinton as quickly as possible. But the real reason is it's starting early because it's going to end early. A year from tomorrow, you have the New Hampshire primary, and then you have the political equivalent of the Oklahoma land rush. In the next 6 weeks after that, 70% of the delegates to the Republican convention are going to be chosen. It's going to end very early. So they want to get out here. They want to get their supporters in line. They want to raise money. They're going to have to raise lots and lots of money very quickly. $20 million to play, they say.
Bob Dole is still the out-and-out front runner here, Joe. How much of what's happening there this weekend is about Bob Dole?
Well, Republicans are very orderly people. They don't like long shots. They like to take the senior man, the next in line, and Bob Dole is the next guy in line. A great deal of what's happening tonight, this big fundraising dinner, is they want to see how Bob Dole's going to do, whether he has the stamina and the passion to lead the party in 1996. I just saw Senator Dole. He came up to me, he said, boy, it's different this time. And the reason why it's different is because he's the senior man. He doesn't have to scuffle for supporters. They're coming to him.
This is the new warm and fuzzy Bob Dole, as he described himself today?
That's right. And he has 8 other Republicans who are in the position that he used to be in the past, especially Lamar Alexander, who is a former governor of Tennessee, who's running as the outsider, and Phil Gramm, who's running as who's the senator from Texas, who's running as the candidate of the party faithful, the hardliners, the ideological sorts.
Joe, is this it? Is this the field? Aren't there more names still being talked about who aren't there?
Well, let's name 2. One big name is Governor Pete Wilson of California. California is the most important state in any presidential campaign. He's kind of thinking about it at this point. The other name that you hear a lot is General Colin Powell, and I think that whether or not he runs is going to depend on how these guys do, how Bob Dole does here tonight. He also may run as an independent. Nobody knows. It's also going to depend on how his autobiography, which is going to come out next September, does.
Joe, how much will this Phil Gramm flap over the draft be an impact at all?
Well, Phil Gramm would tell you that it won't be that much of an impact, but this is a very conservative party, and the fact that he chose not to serve in Vietnam is very important here. There's a difference, though, between what happened to Gramm in the 60s and what happened to Bill Clinton. Gramm very clearly had a teaching deferment. Bill Clinton changed his story several times on how he got out of the draft, and I think that Gramm is counting on that difference playing in his favor in this party. It's going to be tough, though.
Joe Klein, thank you very much. See you in that very same spot 1 year from tonight.
Oh, my.
It's been more than a decade since there's been a repeat winner of the Daytona 500, but Sterling Marlin accomplished that feat today, crossing the finish line first in the rain-delayed race. Dale Earnhardt finished second, his 17th trip to stock car's most prestigious event without a win.
For centuries, a plan to link Great Britain with France remained just that. A plan. Until 1987. That's when the manpower and machine power of Europe joined forces with Caterpillar, the world leader in earth-moving equipment. Which got an idea off the drawing board and put it where it belongs. Under 23 miles of water.
Take a good look through new Transitions Comfort lenses. The new lightweight plastic prescription lenses with a special tint that lightens and darkens as the light changes. The only lightweight plastic lenses that darken and lighten just like that. It's comfort you can see day or night, inside or outside. Ask for new Transitions Comfort lenses and see for yourself. They're right in any light.
I love antiques. I just don't want to feel like one. But when I get a regular, I feel pretty antique. Slow, sluggish. Harsh chemical laxatives aren't the answer. They can work suddenly, unexpectedly. Oh boy, can that be embarrassing? That's why I use Metamucil. Its natural fiber works with my body's natural rhythms, gets me back on track. And like they say, you're only as young as you feel.
Metamucil, the natural choice for regularity.
Rome is one of the fashion capitals of the world, not only for the rich and famous, but for people with simpler wardrobes too. Priests and nuns of the Roman Catholic Church. Alan Pizzi has the story.
The Via Condotti, home of the world's most famous designer labels, may be as close as a true shopper can get to paradise. But nestled a few blocks away is another area that certain consumers also consider divine. The Via dei Cestari is where the holies shop.
The price is certainly very high for us, very high for us. But the quality is very good. The quality speaks a lot also.
This 200-year-old tailor shop is to priests what Armani is to the fashion-conscious laity. Gamarelli has made to measure for 6 popes. All made by hand, Signor Santi says, made to measure. You need time to do this. You also need money. Gold-plated silver thread to trim vestments is sold by weight. But it's not all ostentation. There's more to a nun's attire than a black and gray habit, and window shopping is the same here as it is across town. You can buy almost anything a cleric or nun might want here. Holy statues, for example, all shapes and sizes, all prices.
Price is good? Yeah, not bad.
If a special shopping street for the clergy seems excessive, consider this. The Vatican version of Who's Who lists more than 2,000 clerics of note. And then there are tens of thousands of average priests and nuns who come here every year to study or just visit, which all adds up to one huge market for black cloth and embroidered robes. Just ask the sales clerks. Where else could you buy a present to mark a brother's 25 years in the priesthood and bargain for it? She knocked them down from $1,200 to just under $1,000. And for some, it's just like the rest of us.
People expect you to bring something from Rome. And at the back of their mind, things from Rome are special.
After all, isn't shopping part of what coming to the Eternal City is all about? Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Rome.
And that's the news. Stay tuned for 60 Minutes. And first thing tomorrow, a special edition of CBS This Morning, President's Day at the White House with President and Mrs. Clinton. I'm Bill Agatuda in New York, and from all of us at CBS News around the world, good night.
Experience CBS News.
He thinks he's ugly on television and doesn't always make a good first impression, but he says he'd make a great president. This week he throws his hat in the ring. 60 Minutes tonight.
This is CBS.